KZCF Live, I'm Tom Vance, and I'm here with Jodi Michaels from Colleagues International, and we're in their wonderful offices here on Walnut Street in a historic old home downtown Kalamazoo. So thanks for joining us, Jodi.
Thank you for being here.
So let's start with what Colleagues International does.
So Colleagues International is an international exchange organization. So we really exist to bring the world to Kalamazoo and then bring Kalamazoo out into the world. And we do this through international exchange programs. So our focus is on adult professionals. And so we bring folks who are leaders in their fields from all around the world to engage with their peers, with our local community, for short-term exchange, a few days, a few months. And we also do some youth exchange work. And the idea is really to enrich our local community with global diversity, one relationship at a time.
So what's it look like when a group arrives in Kalamazoo, and what would be there's probably not a typical visit, because I'm sure they're all different, but what would be some examples of what you plan for them while they're here?
So typically when a group comes to Kalamazoo, we are bringing people through the International Visitor Leadership Program. And so that is the oldest, most prestigious professional exchange program in the U.S. Department of State, close to 80 years. And that program is 3 weeks in the United States, visiting 4 to 5 cities, usually starting in Washington, D.C. So when they come to Kalamazoo, it's often, like it is for many folks who move here, it's the first time they've ever been to Kalamazoo. It might be the first time they've ever been to the Midwest. And we arrange for them to stay in a hotel. And we arrange a series of meetings behind closed doors and with some public events and with some international conversation with businesses, with local nonprofits, and with people in government, so that they can learn from one another in conversation.
So like we were saying before we started taping, it's a two-way street, and so tell us a little bit more about how this benefits or enriches people here in Kalamazoo County.
Yeah, so often when folks have their own mission, you know, if it's a business, if it's a nonprofit, they have a pretty singular goal. And many want to be globally engaged and have international connections, but it's not in the budget and it's not in the plans. But when you have an opportunity to meet with someone who does something similar to what you do in a totally different context and to talk about the challenges you're facing, it really helps you think outside the box, and it helps you to learn from one another and I thought you were from, such a different context. Nothing could be relevant. And people find that, we're much more alike than we are different. And a lot of the challenges we face, we can learn from one another to make our own community better. And so I think in the local community, people do find that through engaging with international visitors, they learn more about themselves and more about how to do what they do better.
And of course, what you do aligns perfectly with the Community Foundation's priorities of equity and education, because obviously both those are woven into everything you're doing. Are there any common themes of what you hear from visitors to Kalamazoo, of what their impressions of Kalamazoo, or just things that people who live here would be surprised or happy to know about?
Yeah, so, Kalamazoo punches above its weight. It's a community with a lot of deep-seated challenges, but with a lot of people trying to do a lot to make it a model community, to model ideas that we can work on here that maybe could be replicated elsewhere. And so before people come to Kalamazoo, they're thinking, why are you sending me to Kalamazoo? Never heard of Kalamazoo, I want to go to New York. Right. And people come to Kalamazoo, and within a day and a half or less, they're like, wow, this is incredible. And you know, we host a lot of visitors here. Last year, I think we hosted about 185 people from some 46 countries. We're going to host way more than that this year. Even just in the next month, I think we have more than people from more than 60 countries coming to Kalamazoo. And they are from all different size communities. And so we'll host people who are from a community the same size as Kalamazoo. And it's really impressive if you look at it from the outside that we have as much diversity, as much richness in all the different fields and all the different kinds of things that you can get into here in Kalamazoo. And so often people find this to be their favorite spot, which, you know, doesn't mean much coming from me on a video. I need more videos of our visitors saying that.
Right.
But I think, you know, there's an appreciation also for the openness of people here to share their lives and what they're grappling with.
It has to be very rewarding work and a lasting impact for people here in Kalamazoo and the visitors. So how can people get involved with Colleagues International?
So there are many ways to get involved in Colleagues International, and what is, you know, of deep importance to us is that when people come to Kalamazoo, we're not showing them this like perfect community where everything is roses. We want people to engage with the real Kalamazoo. We want as many people within Kalamazoo to engage with our visitors as possible. And so, you know, through meetings, through hospitality hosting, often when we have visitors here, they will go to someone's house for lunch or dinner, and just, you know, conversation. We have today arriving a group of women from 8 different countries who are women entrepreneurs, who are alumni of U.S. exchange programs, and who are coming back to share what they took home the last time and how they've bettered their communities. And, you know, we're going to take them to Com University at the university football game, and they will have an experience like that. So just when you see an international visitor walking down the street, we have Germans here right now for the next 3 months. They're all youth workers in social services. You might run into them and talk to them, engage with them. And it's just my hope that that everyone in Kalamazoo can just talk to someone from somewhere else and hopefully learn something about the world and themselves in the process.
It's exciting work. Anything else you want to say?
No, thank you for coming. And really, you know, we just we want everybody to meet our guests, and it's really wonderful that we have a community that is open enough and that just has so much happening that we can host people from fields as diverse as, you know, transboundary water issues to entrepreneurship to nonprofit management, and so we're just happy to be part of the mix in Kalamazoo.
Well, thanks for sharing, Jodi, and join us next week, next Thursday, for another KZCF Live.